Yes. Enjoyed your meal, sir.
Good thing I'm hungry.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to raise your glasses to the hero of the hour, my savior, Detective John Spotton.
We are here at the headquarters of the World Economic Forum in Geneva.
Wow, thank you very much for getting me here. Can you explain me a little bit about your activities and could we see you around as well, because you have fantastic setup here?
Of course, we can walk around. We have here our headquarters. We have also offices in Beijing and in New York. If I look at our stakeholders, we have business, of course, as a very important audience, and we have politics. We have continuous partnerships with many governments around the world. And of
John
course,
Spotton.
Appreciate it. Greetings and salutations. I'm Associate Bond. We met before, ever so briefly. I was groveling in fear at the time. You got the salt over there, Bob?
Salt is not good for you, hence it is illegal.
We partnered with Google, for example. If you Google climate change, you will, at the top of your search, you will get all kinds of UN resources. We started this partnership when we were shocked to see that when we Googled climate change, we were getting incredibly distorted information right at the top. So we're becoming much more proactive. We own the science, and we think that the world, should know it, and the platforms themselves also do. But again, it's a huge challenge that I think all sectors of society need to be very active in.
Sir John Spotton, tell me, what do you think of San Angeles 2032?
Well, considering the way things were going when I went in, I thought the future would be a rotting cesspool.
Oh, you weren't here when the real disturbances began. Civilization tried to destroy itself. The city degenerated into a total fear zone. The citizenry cocooning in their homes, afraid to go out. People just wanted the madness over. So when I saw the chance to make things right, I seized it.
The easiest way to grab people's attention is to make them frightened. This is how we are built, really, as animals. So if you want to distract the public from issues like government corruption, or like deteriorating healthcare system, or deteriorating education system, the best thing is to find an external enemy that threatens the survival of the nation, and immediately that gets all the attention. Terrorism kills a handful of people, and you have all the government and millions of people terrified from it. Climate change can kill not a handful of people, but millions upon millions of people. And we should place climate change far above terrorism. There is less room to criticize the government, because then you are immediately labeled a traitor. Like, this is war now. We're in a national emergency. We all have to unite around the government, and anybody who opposes that or criticizes the government is a traitor. This is like...
If I had not, the radiance of San Angeles would not be here. Just your rotting cesspool of hate and suffering. Which would you prefer?
Maybe you can book me a flight out of here when this sermon's over.
John Spotton, for your crimes, you would surely have died in jail before now. Even you must appreciate the persuasively tranquil humanity of the cryo-prison system.
We have the opportunity to not simply reset the world, but to transform it. It's time to reset. But the tragedy of COVID-19 has also given us an unexpected opportunity for a reset. We have the chance of a reset. We must grasp it. To ensure one world economy, one secure and open internet, cybersecurity, respect for international law, and for rules agreed by all and adhered to by all. We need to take the opportunity of a reset based on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
Children's Support, Chris speaking.
Hello, Chris, it's Jim. I just missed the call, sorry.
Oh, right. Just see if I can find out who that was for you. Just a moment.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, you're through to Rochelle Bone. I'm just returning your call. I was asked to give you a call about our racism and diversity training what we're having at the moment.
Right. Well, it was my understanding that it's been put forward to do some sort of course.
No, what's actually happened is we've just sent a letter to notify all parents that we are undergoing this. It's a bit of an assessment for us, really.
So you're going through the training then?
Yes, but it's just to inform all parents in case, you know, your child were to be talked to by the people. Actually, at the moment, we haven't got a plan for Jaden to be talked to at the moment. And if we did, obviously, I'd talk to you about that anyway.
Right, so this is a thing then. So yeah, I've actually done some looking into it, and I'm trying to understand if there's been a not a risk assessment, so to speak, but what's it called? Developmentally appropriate, because on the advertisement, it's all for going into schools. It says about going into schools and teaching teachers about racial literacy. Now,
yes, that's right.
Right. Now that may be all well and good in the big wide world, but I would argue that it was not developmentally appropriate for people with special educational needs. Like these kids struggle to function on a day-to-day basis doing simple things, and then you want to bombard them with concepts that are undistinct from cultural Marxism. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but this.
So you're going. What my thing is? The point is, right? You're going to. The whole point in this consultancy and taking on this firm is for your school to be, rather than being race neutral, you want everyone to be race conscious and teach the children that race is part of their identity. Children that are malleable and that take what adults say seriously, take it to heart. Children that think no way about the colour of their friend's skin, you're going to sit down and then teach them that their skin is a fundamental, their skin colour is a fundamental part of their identity.
No, I don't think that's what we're going to teach them. I think what we're doing...
That's what it says on the website, though. Of this
I think what we're doing is we're trying to make sure that our literacy around communication about race is appropriate.
Can you even define race for me?
Can I define race for you? Well, yes, it's your part of your history and your heritage.
Sorry. No, have you got like a definition for what race is? When they're talking about race literacy, what does race mean in that context?
It means
is it someone's ethnicity?
Literacy
is it someone's ethnicity?
No, it's to do with ethnicity as well. Yes.
So what if that is a tenet or a facet of it? What is race then?
So are you asking me because you don't know and you'd like to come in and discuss it?
Well, I want to know what your understanding, what you're teaching other children about it is. That's what because fundamentally, if you look at the etymology of race, race comes from the Norse word of running water. Yes, race means to run. It's to partake in a sporting activity. That's what a race is. Yes, so this talk of race, I don't know, all this division, teaching children to be race conscious about colours of skin and that it's a fundamental part of their identity. I am opposed to this ideology. Fundamentally, this is Marxism. This is identity politics and Marxism. They should not be teaching malleable, feeble minds. Basically. And if you can't see it for what it is, whilst at the same time, simultaneously, you've got staff in there emotionally blackmailing and torturing children about how you don't get paid enough, right? But at the same time, you're forking out whoever knows how much money to be consulted and to be taught about how to racialise and radicalise your vulnerable children that you're supposed to be in the care of. You're supposed to be taking care of.
Sorry, do you think we're radicalising children?
You're trying to make them race aware, like they need to be aware of it. What is that? If children don't care about that, children are friends with their friends. They don't realise stuff like that. It's adults that have prejudice and problems, and now you're trying to force it on malleable, vulnerable children. Do you not understand that?
you're saying, but no, that's not our rationale, if you like.
Well, I think you would do well to just perhaps think about what is actually going on. Think about the children and think about their developmental stages and where they are in their life and whether they need the extra stress and nonsense which fundamentally comes out of leftist politics, which has no place in the schoolroom. It's critical race theory that you are trying to teach children, that you're having taught to you, that you need to then teach to the children. Trying to make, rather than being race neutral, you want to make an environment where you're going to call out racism and you're going to persecute people that you deem to be racist. Children, not people. You're going to persecute and demonise children. Children, not only just children, but vulnerable children that need extra help.
I thought we were going to be able to have a sensible conversation, Jim.
But this is what it's. Have you read the website? Have you read the website? Have you been on? Have you been on the website?
I'm going to finish this phone call now, okay?
All right.
And when you're in a reasonable frame of mind, we can talk then, okay? Because at the moment you're just shouting at me, not letting me speak.
Well,
so I'm going to
I'll make coherent bullet points, and I'll put it in an email.
You're a Nazi scumbag. Yeah? You're a Nazi scumbag, mate. Get stuff, Nazi. I don't even... Get stuff, Nazi. You're a Nazi scum. You're a Nazi scumbag, mate. You're a Nazi filth, and you're a Nazi scumbag, mate. You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi, and you're a Nazi scumbag as well. You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a bunch of transphobic bigots. Shut up,
listen.
Nazi scumbag. I'm not going to listen to a Nazi scumbag.
Have issues, drag queens or nothing.
Get stuff,
it's
Nazi.
the, when you get involved, that's my... Leave alone and...
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
Goodbye, fascist. Goodbye, fascist. Goodbye, fascist. You are a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi scumbag. Jog on, you're Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi scumbag, man. You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi scumbag, man. You are a transphobic bigot. Go on, you're a transphobic bigot. You're a transphobic bigot. You're a scumbag, man. Jog on, you're a Nazi. You're a Nazi scumbag, man. You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi scumbag. Is that not You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi scumbag, man. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. I'm verbally abusing a Nazi scumbag. Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi scumbag. You're a Nazi. Nazi scumbag.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarmingly, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 On the G20, you were there meeting some of the leaders as well. Professor Schwab, what do you make of the result? Finally, they put something as a statement, and it seems quite positive with all the voices included.
I think it's positive. It's already positive through the fact that everybody agreed about the statement, which we haven't had the last years. Now the base has been formed, but we have to go one step further. We have to have a strategic mood. We have to construct the world of tomorrow. It's a systemic transformation of the world. So we have to define how the world should look like, which we want to come out of this transformation period. I respect China's achievements, which are tremendous over the last over 40 years. I think it's a role model for many countries, but I think also we should leave it to each country to make its own decision what system it wants to adopt. And I think we should be very careful in imposing systems. But the Chinese model is certainly a very attractive model for quite a number of countries.